Hi, welcome to this tutorial. Today I'm going to talk about wireless mics, and I have several of them here. Let me start by explaining the basics of it. What you have is one piece where the microphone's connected. This is the transmitter. And think of this as a radio station or a broadcast tower. So this is sending a signal to the radio. Here's the antenna for the radio. This is the receiver. So this is the radio in your car, and this is the radio station. Here's the antenna for this. There's not much difference between these two. These are both Sennheisers, and they look identical as far as the device is concerned. They both have a small connector at the top. The only way you can tell the difference is that the microphone has a mute button on the top, and the radio or the receiver doesn't. The other thing is that the frequencies of the radio station need to be the same, and after they're turned on, you can check that. I'll talk about that in a moment. I have a transmitter and a receiver. These are from a different set, and here we number the sets so you can tell which is which. Both the transmitter and the receiver, they require power. And so you have to power these up. Now, people sometimes get a little confused about where to do that. And on this particular model, the power ups button is located behind a faceplate. So what you do is you put your hands on the side. You can see it right here. And on this model, you just simply pull the faceplate open, and there's a small button right here, located right here. This is the on-off button. A button over here is used for changing settings on the device. So when I power this unit up, which I'll do now, I'll just hit it on. It comes up, and we see that it's up. There's a battery indicator right here on the top left. And right here you can see the battery indicator. This one's about half full. And there's some numbers on the top of the screen. This tells us what station we are transmitting on. And this station needs to match the receiver. So if this station is a different number in terms of megahertz than the receiver, you won't get no signal. And sometimes what happens is people will change this inadvertently, and you'll be listening to a Rock 103 and when you're really broadcasting on easy listening. I'm joking about that, of course. So this turns her off, and here's the mute button. I'm going to open this up again. For the power down, what you do is you turn on the button and you hold it down for a couple of seconds. There it's coming on, and it'll say power off, and then when you let go, power's off. Okay, that's the basics. Here are two other units. This is a little bit older unit. This one, all the connections are on the front. Let me move this one out of the way. There we go. This one, all the connections are on the front. To change batteries on this one, you have to slide little sliders back, and then the door opens beneath. This one's not so easy to open. I'm going to push these sliders down. Yeah, see how easy that is? It's not so easy at all. There we go. Oh, you lift them up, and up comes the batteries. This older model is not as energy efficient as the Sennheiser models are. Here's indeed a much older model. This is an industrial unit. This one uses a 9-volt battery. All the connections are on the top, and they're quite simple. You just do a switch to the mute position and then a switch to the on position. And this one has a pretty robust clip for attaching it to the belt. The transmitter, the receiver for this one is pretty large. It's a real big, large thing, and it works the same way. You just turn it on to internal power for battery, and it has a place for external power. And this would clamp with Velcro onto a camera unit. Now, when you use the transmitter, I'll open this one up. When you use the transmitter, the connection has to be in tight, and these have a clever little screw that holds it in tight. Now, I recommend that you never take these out. Let's just leave them alone. So I'm going to push this in and be sure that it is screwed tight. It keeps it from pulling out inadvertently while you're working it. As far as putting the microphone on, what you do is you take the clip in your hand, and I like to take a small little fold like this and then put it behind on the clip. Then the clothing goes in between here. I'll attach this now, like this. Now I have two of them. And then this, the cable, is hidden beneath the clothing, as it is on mine right here. Some people, you'll notice on television shows, sometimes they'll mount the microphone this way on the top of the garment. And the idea is that then, as somebody speaks, the volume comes down this way towards the microphone. You'll pick up either side. If it's this way and your person looks down, they'll actually speak right into the microphone itself. Okay. Now, when you're putting a microphone away, what I recommend is carefully wrapping up the cable loosely. I usually take it and I just sort of wrap it around my hand like I'm doing here. But I don't get this really tight. I don't go crazy making this too tight. The wires inside these microphones are pretty fragile. And if you get them too tight, you can easily damage them. I don't think it's a good idea to wrap the wire around the body of the microphone tightly. Some people think that's a wonderful idea. I really dislike that. So I try not to do that. So that's the basics of using the wireless microphone here in our studio.